man. Why must I chase the cat?
Good evening and welcome to Posse Presents, where once again you catch us loving the tune. Anyway, I'm going to start tonight with a couple of birthday shout-outs. One to Debbie from Pet Playhouse and one to our very own Alice and Leo, who both had birthdays this week. So happy birthday, ladies. Hope they were good and many more to come. Anyway, it's once again and still cold outside, although we did have kind of nice warmer weather this week. It's very cold tonight, and if you didn't hear me last time, I'll say it again this time: bring your pets inside. It's too cold for you, it's far too cold for them. Just as sort of a punctuation to that theory, there was a dog this week that was being kept outside in a makeshift doghouse, and it was with her two puppies. You know, it was a makeshift type of thing with a tarp over it and a space heater. Let's guess what happened. It caught on fire. Zach, can we have the pictures? Unfortunately, the young puppies died, and poor Lucy, who is a 4-year-old bull terrier, was severely burned over most of her body. And Zach is talking to me from the control room. We're having some really fun technical difficulties here tonight. It's making a very interesting night. Anyway, Lucy was burned over most of her body, quite severely. They think that the reason why she didn't run away from the fire was that she was trying to save her puppies. So, you know, it just, how do these things happen is beyond me. Can we get both pictures, Zach? Can we like flip between the two pictures? Okay. It's a technical nightmare. All right, Zach's talking to me again. You know, there's Lucy all wrapped up. You know, burns are pretty painful and you know, require a lot of attention. She even lost the pads on her paws. I mean, that's I can't imagine that. You know, they say she's really sweet and she loves attention. She's really probably very needy at this point because she hasn't probably had a lot of attention if she was being kept outside like that, you know, with her puppies. Folks, keep your animals inside, stuff like that. It just doesn't make sense. But Open in Stamford, which is Outreach to Pets in Need, has Lucy in their care, and you know, they have her at the vet, and you know, they're doing all they can for her to make her comfortable and help her heal. But you can't imagine what that must have been like for her. You know, if they think she was trying to save her puppies, imagine her sense of loss. But you can follow Lucy's story on the Open Facebook page. Again, that's OPIN, Outreach to Pets in Need. If you want to find out more about Lucy, or you know, how you can help her, if you're interested in adopting her, because eventually she will be up for adoption, their number is 855-333-6746. Once again, that's 855-333-6746. And we're going to go from one motherhood story to another one. Zach, let's get Mama up there. Mama was rescued, but she's been stuck in a boarding facility because she's got no one to take her in. Her and her week-old puppies were reportedly going to be dumped on a highway. Now, there's the pinnacle of, you know, what people love to do is you know, threaten to dump their dogs. You know, they're going to let their animals out. They're going to do crazy things with them. But fortunately, 20 Paws to Share, who is the same organization who rescued Coco, stepped up and went and grabbed her. That was like, you know, the ultimatum from this person was, you know, if they didn't come get her, they were just going to dump them out in the highway. Unbelievable. I just can't wrap my mind around some of this stuff. But they took Mama in and her puppies, and of course, you know, typical story, Mama was left behind when all of her puppies were adopted out. So there's not an available foster apparently. She's in boarding, and you know, that's no life for a dog. That's as bad as being, you know, in a shelter. It is, you know, no matter how advanced some of these boarding places may be, you know, it's still not home, and it's still not on a comfy couch, and you know, with constant interaction like dogs crave. So poor Mama is, like I said, stuck behind. She's a sweet, loving girl. She was a very good mom. You know, she's about 2 years old, 40 pounds, so she's on the smaller side. She won't take up much room at all if you want to take her in. You know, she may be a little bit dog selective, but there haven't been any real problems with her with that. And 20 Paws to Share has a Facebook page, or you can reach them at 20pawsrescue.com. That's 20, the word spelled out, pawsrescue.com. And it's Saving Mama is a page all of her very own on Facebook. And, you know, she would love to not be stuck in a boarding facility anymore. Look at that face. I mean, she's a beautiful girl, and she really deserves a chance at a home. Okay, next up we're going to talk about a dog named Gramps. If we can get that picture up, there we go. Now we're on the ball, Zach. Gramps is a 98 or so pound American Bulldog. He could be construed as maybe a Mastiff Pit Rottie mix. He was picked up in Litchfield and presumed hit by a car. He's a really awesome dog. There's everything wonderful about him from what I understand. And, you know, he's a little on the older side, hence the name Gramps. But the reason why he's up here is that he's been having seizures. And his seizures have been becoming more severe and could be life-threatening. So what's happening is everybody's sharing this picture everywhere, and you're being asked to share it as well. The rescue that has him is Little Guild of St. Francis, and they're trying desperately to get his vet records. You know, just like with people, you know, medical history can be critical when something pops up, when something's wrong. You know, if you're an accident victim and nobody knows your medical history, there could be big problems if they treat you, you know, in a manner that you shouldn't be. It's kind of the same with animals, very much the same with animals. You know, it's a problem when they're found wandering or, you know, picked up as strays, owner surrenders without vet records. It leaves an awful lot to be questioned. It leaves, you know, sometimes an animal at risk because every little piece of information can be critical when you find out where somebody's been or where they're going, you know, if that makes any sense. You know, if you've got lumps, bumps, scratches, treatments for this or that, it could lead to something else, and if you know the history, you know a better way to treat it. So, you know, they're trying to find out if maybe he's had a history of seizures, if, you know, he's been on certain medications, whatever may piece the puzzle together for them so that they know how to treat him, because it could save his life. Now, there's no questions asked. No one's trying to, you know, point fingers because he was wandering and nobody claimed him. They just want the vet records. They just want to know what his history has been so that they know how to proceed, because, you know, seizures can be anything. They can be caused by anything. You know, there's different treatments. Sometimes the treatments will make it worse. Sometimes the treatments will control it. You know, until they find the right mix of what's going on with him, they're really going to be very hard-pressed to properly help him. So if you know anything, if this dog looks familiar to you, If you are his owner, I mean, really, there's no questions asked. They just want the vet records. 860-672-6346 is Little Guild of St. Francis's number. 860-672-6346. And, you know, if you go on to the Pound Posse Presents Facebook page, he's on there. You can share the picture. There's actually pictures of Lucy on there too, Mama. You can take from the page and share. If you need a direct email because you're not on Facebook, you can email me at pawprints713@aol.com, pawprints713@aol.com, and I'll be glad to share any and all of this information with you directly. Excuse me. But poor Gramps needs your help, and I'll take the camera back and just want to say that sometimes when people surrender a dog, you know, or people are adopting a dog privately and they're asked for the vet records, people balk. They think they're being scrutinized or put under a microscope. It's really not the case. Having an animal's vet records, like I said, knowing where they've been so they know where you're going, you know, it's invaluable. Something may happen down the line where you can look back and say, hey, look, this happened. It was maybe, you know, a precursor to something else. If you have all the information, it's just like a person. If you're switching doctors, you know, anytime you switch doctors, your doctor wants your vet records. What am I talking about? They want your medical records. So it's the same thing, you know. A vet will know a whole lot more about an animal and how to treat it if it has the history. So really, some people have a really hard time getting the records from a prior owner. Don't let it be like that, because, you know, you're helping the animal, and in the end, somewhere down the line, you may just save its life. Okay, on to some more news. Pedigree Dog Food has a contest where 2 shelters will win dog food for a year. Now, they did this sort of like as a pilot program in 2012, and they had it open to only 2 communities, and the recipients were both in Chicago and Nashville. Now they're opening it up nationwide, so you can go on their Facebook page. There's that evil Facebook necessity again. You can go on their Facebook page and you can nominate the shelter of your choice. And from all of the nominations, they will pick 5 winners, or five winners from the nominations, and then there'll be a voting period. And from that voting period, 2 shelters will receive free dog food for a year. So I have that link up on the Pound Posse Presents page again, and you can go right in there and do your thing. And if you need it emailed to you, again, you can email me and I'll send it to you, pawprint713@aol.com. There's plenty of shelters out there who would benefit from just such a thing. I can't think of one that wouldn't, you know. So if you've got one in mind, go ahead and nominate them. Unfortunately, this is a conversation that I had with somebody on Facebook the other night. You don't get to see who's nominated, so there may be plenty of duplication, which I guess why they're saying they have to go through the nominees, and, you know, then they'll pick out their 5 and then the voting begins. But it'll be interesting to see how it plays out and who wins, and I'm sure the voting will be fierce because people are pretty passionate about, you know, their favorites. But I just thought I'd mention that, and I have to give a shout out to Ann Grashevsky, who actually posted that and made me aware of it. So I've been sharing like crazy because, again, I'm a contest freak, and I think it's a fabulous idea for everybody. All right, I have a very disturbing thing that came under my microscope, came on my radar today. And there is a town called Holly, New York, and the Holly, New York Fire Department is having their 7th annual, not their first, not their second, 7th annual squirrel killing. I don't know how much more horrible I could think something is. I don't understand how you could proudly promote something like that, a squirrel killing. And there are prizes being given for killing squirrels. Now, as if that's not bad enough, you analyze that and you think to yourself, the fire department is sponsoring that. Now, what do kids want to be when they grow up? Firemen, right? You know, people look up, kids look up to the fire departments. People have ultimate respect for the firefighters. They were raised to a whole new level after 9/11, and here you have firefighters sponsoring a squirrel kill. I just don't get it. What makes anybody want to pick and choose? Animals should live, animals should die. I mean, as a vegetarian, I really don't get it. You know, save a dog, kill a cow. I mean, doesn't really make a lot of sense to me, because I don't think that any animal should have to, you know, be treated the way they are. I'm not going to get into that whole why I'm a vegetarian thing, but there is there's a number of people trying to stop them, and there are some events, online event pages on Facebook with petitions to sign and letters to write and emails to send people who are in authority, the governor and, you know, the mayor and, you know, all the people who are involved in the localities, the president even. But, you know, I think not only is it bad enough that you're chasing down squirrels to kill them, there's a kids category. They're actually encouraging children to go out with guns and shoot squirrels. I just, what does that teach in a child? That one life is any more or less important than another, that, you know, because it's just a squirrel. You know, what happens then when a child can't distinguish between just a squirrel, just a cat, just a dog, just the neighbor? It's a big thing. You know, I really think it sends absolutely the wrong message to a child. I think that there's a whole lot wrong with the whole idea of it. And, you know, if you're interested in getting on board with, you know, signing the petitions and writing those letters and sending out those emails, like I say, the link is on Pound Posse Presents Facebook page. And I encourage you to speak out, because if you're as outraged as I am, and I am, you know, you really should do something about it and let your voice be heard, because, you know, really, what's next? I can't imagine, once again, that, you know, you've got a fire department wanting to sponsor something so heinous and so barbaric. And that's my rant on that, because I'm pretty much all set. That's sort of been bothering me all day, and I'm not going to lie. Anyway, something else that's bothering me, and I'm gonna let it rip right here. You know how I campaigned to try to find Bonnie and Clyde a home. They were, you know, that dynamic duo. Bonnie killed the bird, the whole bit. And, you know, they were finally pulled when their time was almost up by a rescue, and I'm going to leave names out of it. And everybody, you know, breathed that great big sigh of relief, like we always do, because yay, they were safe. They were going to be, you know, together forever, which is what everybody always, you know, was told that they needed to be. Well, they were separated, and Clyde actually was adopted this week without Bonnie, who's still in a foster home. And, you know, there have been no small amount of heated exchanges over this. And, I mean, yeah, I understand, you know, great, they're safe, got to do what you got to do. At least Clyde got a home, Bonnie stands a chance, you know, they weren't killed in the shelter. I get all that, but I think that there's a huge sense of betrayal felt by not just me, that, you know, for almost a year, ever since these two dogs were in New Britain, they were together. They're 8 years old about now. They were always together. They were supposed to stay together because, you know, they were clingy to each other and they didn't do well without each other. You know, Clyde was supposedly the carefree, goofy one, and Bonnie was a little needier. When they were in the shelter that they were in for most of the year, they even experimented with trying to separate them, and it was said that who didn't eat, they didn't do well, blah blah blah. Yeah, they kind of needed to stay together. And then after being under the care of this rescue that pulled them for a hot minute, it was decided, oh no, they're fine without each other. They should be apart. It's all good. They do fine. Now suddenly Bonnie was the carefree one, and Clyde had separation anxiety, and he was acting out when he was left alone. I just feel like there is a lot of misinformation, maybe. I feel like, if they were okay to be separated the whole time, we all could have done that long ago. We wouldn't have needed for them to be in a shelter for so long. We wouldn't have needed to have, some rescue come out of nowhere and, swoop them up and think they were heroes for doing so. There was a lot of things that didn't have to happen if the case was that they were okay to be apart the whole time. So I think one of the things that just really angers me is the fact that, it was portrayed to be one way, it came out supposedly another way. People's emotions are running really high, my own too. Like I said, there's been a few heated exchanges over it, and it's just mind-boggling to me. If someone can explain to me the rationale behind the whole thing, that would be great. You all know how to get in touch with me. But I'm really, really disappointed that, we tried so hard to keep them together and now they're apart. Yes, I'm glad that they weren't killed, but I don't understand. I can't wrap my mind around, the turn of events and the fact that people are really ugly about it and pretty much not, difference of opinion is one thing, and, not agreeing with somebody is fine, but, it seems to be pretty heated and it gets ugly, and, to be honest with you, I'm tired of the ugliness. I've just, no more of these heated exchanges, but I can't wrap my mind around it. There, I vented it, I said it. It is what it is. If they are going to be fine without each other, then I hope Bonnie certainly gets her home quickly, because Clyde's already sleeping on his own private couch. All right, so there are a couple of events coming up this week. One is for Project Precious Rescue, who were my guests last week, lovely ladies that were here. There's another one for the Cheshire Dog Park, and we had Greg on a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago, talking about that. So if you want more information on either of those two events, once again, I drive you to the Posse Presents Facebook page, because that's where I post all this stuff. Anyway, I'm pretty much out of material, and I've got a couple minutes left. So I'm just going to urge you all, once again, take your pets inside. It's cold out. If it's too cold for you, it's too cold for them. There is no excuse for what happened to poor Lucy. It hurts me to think about the pain she's going through physically and emotionally. Get on board with this squirrel thing, because I just can't believe that, Some people consider squirrels to be, rodents and vermin and all of that. Really, who'd they hurt? You're not, I don't know. Do people eat squirrels? You can? I mean, I don't know. Like, it's not like they're doing it to survive off of, a squirrel. I mean, I know people kill rabbits and they eat those, but I don't get that either. But, I don't understand what the benefit of, just like hunting down squirrels. And like it said on the event page, this is kind of like getting into the breeding season. There might be babies out there who are going to be missing a mama, and now you're actually killing the whole family. Just get on board with that. Check out the Posse Presents Facebook page and get into that event and, sign the petitions, make your voice heard. It really bears standing up against, because, like I said, what is that teaching children? What is that saying to people? I mean, I don't know. Again, certain things I can't wrap my mind around, and that's one of them. There was a lot of outrage on Facebook about that today, and it's a beautiful thing. I will mention really quickly that if anybody's been following the Justice for Desmond, there was another court date this week, and apparently now the case has been put off again, which seems to be all that keeps happening. But sooner or later, that person who abused, tortured, and hung his dog is going to get his, I really hope. But Justice for Desmond is the Facebook page to keep up on the events for that, and I believe the court date is March 8th now. It's been an interesting story to follow, an unfortunate one to have to follow, but you know, when you think about that poor dog's story, and I believe I've talked about him before, and it's all over Facebook, you know, give it a whirl. Anyway, there's another dog out there. I think I'm kind of like moments away from getting the cane. Yeah, exactly. Spino's over here doing like the whole vaudeville thing. There's another dog out there named Herbie, and there's a Facebook group page for that. Poor pit bull was emaciated, head wound. His head was like swollen to I don't know how many times its size, you know, pussing and oozing and like horrible. But that dog, if you know anything about him, he's making somewhat of a recovery, but he may not have vision, and he's got a long road ahead of him. Poor thing is a mess. But I will share the Herbie page too, and he's in Ohio, I believe. And I just, folks, if you see abuse, report it. Call your local authorities, you know, your animal control, your police department. These animals don't deserve to be abused and treated and the way they are, you know, fatally hurt and left to die, starved and thrown out in the streets. I can't, it's another thing I can't wrap my mind around. You know, if you can't care for an animal, turn it over to a shelter, find someone to take it, keep it off of the internet, because that's a really dangerous place for them to be. Anyway, here we go. Here's the big cane. It's coming, and I'm going to do it. Peace, love, and dogs. I've rambled enough for this week. We've got some good shows coming up, so stay tuned. Thank you for watching, and stay warm, stay safe. We're going to have some snow. Bring your pets inside, and I'm going to say good night. Good night, everybody. It's all.